Hello and God bless you. Well, today we are going to continue our series on the end times. Today we will be talking about the Abomination of Desolation, and we did kind of touch on the Abomination of Desolation when we did our Rise of the Antichrist sermon. And today we're going to kind of just give a little bit more detail of what exactly is going to be happening with the Abomination of Desolation, what the Bible has to say about it. Now, I will say, in doing my research and trying to get everything prepared today, I did find out that there are a couple of beliefs in what the Abomination of Desolation is about. The first one is, some believe that when Daniel is talking about the Abomination of Desolation in the book of Daniel, that he is referring to a Greek king named Antiochus IV that replaced the daily offerings in the Jewish temple in the 2nd century. And some believe that when Jesus was talking in the gospel about the Abomination of Desolation as spoken by Daniel the prophet, that he was talking about when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem and the temple in 70 AD. Now, as far as I know, whenever these two situations happened, I do not think that these people's rise to power had ended that, 3.5 years later. But as we read and talked about in our sermon about the rise of the Antichrist, what we're going to see here and what we're going to talk about today is that we know that there's a world leader that's going to rise to power, and he's going to be claiming to bring peace to the world. He's the one that he claims to be the one that can bring world peace. And he's going to make a covenant for 7 years. And like I said, I don't know if this guy's going to be like a political leader, or maybe just somebody that will lead that will influence people. But we know that he will make a covenant for 7 years. That's when he's going to, have power to influence the people of the world and try to deceive them. He's going to have a religious leader that's going to help him deceive the world by claiming that he is the one that could bring world peace. And I don't know, we call this the false prophet. We don't know if he's going to be like a famous religious, like a famous TV pastor or whoever he may be, but I think he may be somebody that's going to have some influence that people, or whenever he makes the claim to be God, they're going to go, well, this man follows him, so he must be who he says he is. And part of what he's going to do whenever he has, started his rise, he is going to give the Jews control of Jerusalem, and the Jews are going to rebuild the Holy Temple, and they're going to start their Levitical sacrifices, which, is what we read about Leviticus, where, they do the morning and evening sacrifices. They do the sacrifices to the Lord, feast days, like Passover and all that, where they bring an offering to the Lord. And they're also going to, bring their sacrifices for their sin offerings and stuff when they feel like they messed up. And Then we know that at the 3.5 year mark, about the beast is going to go into the temple and he's going to stop the Levitical sacrifices. And the false prophet is going to command that the people make an image of the beast, and the false prophet is going to make this image come to life. And the image of the beast will be placed in the holy temple, and the people will be forced to sacrifice to the image of the beast instead of to God, because that's what they would do in their Levitical sacrifices. They would offer these sacrifices to God because the presence of God would come down, and that's where they would offer their sin offerings and stuff. But he's going to make it where they're going to sacrifice to this image of the beast instead of to God. And the people are also going to be forced to worship the image of the beast instead of God, or they're going to be killed. Because like I said, that's where the presence of God would come down in the temple, in the holy temple there in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. Like we said, I don't know if the Temple Mount, if the third temple is going to be on the side of the Dome of the Rock, if they're going to tear down the Dome of the Rock and put it there, or if it's going to be beside there. I do not know, but we know that the people are going to be forced to worship the image of the beast there, where they would come to the holy temple, where the presence of God would come down. Now they're going to be coming to the temple, and they're going to be worshiping this image instead of God, or they're going to be killed for it if they don't, worship the image. And at the end of about the end of the 3.5 years, the Antichrist will be cut off when Jesus is going to destroy him with the brightness of his coming, as we see in 2 Thessalonians. So we're just going to read all that the Bible has to say about the Abomination of Desolation. Just give you what the verses say, and you can study it out for yourself. But I just want to kind of first give you kind of an overview of what is going to be happening and some key points of the Abomination of Desolation. And we're going to start first. We're just going to kind of read it in order. We're going to start first in Daniel 9:27, excuse me. And it says, "And he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week." And that's what we talked about right there, where he's going to make this says a covenant for 1 week here, but we know that's 7 years. So he's going to make a covenant with many for 1 week. And in the middle of the week, he shall cause the sacrifices and the oblations to cease. And that's the Levitical sacrifices. He's going to stop them. And for the overspreading of the abomination, he shall make it desolate, even to the conception, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. See right here, as we said, it's going to be a world leader that's going to rise to power, claiming to bring peace. He's going to make a covenant for 7 years. May not be like I don't want to be in power for 7 years, and so we know, but maybe he's just going to come on to the world. That's as long as his reign will be. It's not like it'll be a predetermined thing where people will see, oh, well, this guy says he's only going to be around for 7 years, so this is the Antichrist. But maybe it's where this is just talking about this is how long his rise to power will be. Not that it's, that his campaign is for 7 years or whatever it may be, just that's as long as his reign is. But he's going to make he's going to influence or maybe come to power if he's a political leader. he's going to make the covenant. He's going to bring peace, and his, be for 1 week. And in the middle of for 1 week it says here, which is 7 years. And in the middle of the week, at the 3.5 year mark roundabout, he's going to cause Levitical sacrifices to stop. And that's what we read here in this first verse that we talked about in our key points. But now let's go on to Daniel 11:31, which says, "An arm shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate." So as we see here, it talks about they're going to pollute the sanctuary by putting the image of the beast there. They're going to take away the Levitical sacrifices that the Jews are commanded to sacrifice to the Lord. They're going to take them away. And it says that they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. That's going to be the image of the beast that they're going to set up in the temple. Now let's go on to Daniel 12:11, which says, "And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days." And see here we're once again confirming that they're taking away the daily Levitical sacrifices that we read about in the book of Leviticus. And the abomination that makes desolate, which is the image of the beast, will be set up. And then it talks about the time frame that this will take place. And now we're going to what Jesus has to say about it. It says, "And when you therefore see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand." And now we're going to go on to Mark 13:14. This is the same statement Jesus is making, just a little bit more of it. And it says, "But when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains." So this is confirming what Daniel was speaking about how this man that makes a covenant, the Antichrist, will make a covenant with the world for 7 years, and then the halfway point he's going to enter into the temple and he's going to stop the Levitical daily sacrifices, and he's going to set up this image of the beast. And now we're going to go on to 2 Thessalonians. We're going to read 3 and 4 of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." And what we're talking about here is this is talking about the world leader, the Antichrist, coming to power and making the covenant for 7 years. This is talking about him being revealed. And it says, "Who poses and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." So as we see here, it's talking about how he's coming in the temple and he's sitting in the temple. And he's commanding that people worship him. And he's exalting himself above the true living God. And he's opposing the true living God, the God we serve. He's opposing himself against God. He's exalting himself, saying he's better than the God we serve. and he's commanding that people worship him. He's claiming that he is the true God, and he's sitting in the temple trying to show himself to be God. Now we're going to go on to Revelation 13 and 14. And it says, and this is talking about the false prophet, what he does to try to help. Because like I said, it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. So we see here that, you know, he's somebody, the false prophet is going to be somebody that's going to draw attention to the beast. You know, he's going to be telling people that he is the one that can bring world peace. And you should make an image to him because he's somebody special. You know, talking about making like a statue or something. You might see like people making for like a Hall of Fame or something. It's like he's demanding that they make a statue or some type of image anyway, that to show how important the beast is supposed to be, the Antichrist. Well, on the 14 it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So as we see there, it's like we had outlined, we seen the rise of the world leader that would claim to bring world peace. He's going to rise to power. He's going to make a covenant. He's going to make some agreement with the people of the world. And with that, he's going to have some religious leader, maybe a TV preacher or somebody just of high influence, maybe someone that people believe is a man of God. And this guy's going to help him deceive the world by claiming he is the one that can bring world peace. And one of the things he's going to do is he's going to give the Jews control of Jerusalem. The Jews are going to rebuild the Holy Temple in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount, either on the location of the Dome of the Rock or beside it. And they're going to restart the Levitical sacrifices that they were commanded to do in the book of Leviticus. They're going to restart them. They're going to do their morning and evening sacrifices. Their sacrifices they do for the feast of the Lord, and like in Leviticus 23, Passover and all that. And they're going to do their sacrifices for sins and everything. And then at the middle of this time period of this reign of the Antichrist, he's going to stop. He's going to go into the temple and he's going to stop the Levitical sacrifices. He's going to tell them that they can't sacrifice to God anymore there. But the false prophet's going to command that the people make an image to the beast, to the Antichrist, and and this will be already probably made before the Antichrist goes into the temple and stops the sacrifice. But the false prophet is going to make the image come to life. So the Antichrist is going to go into the Holy Temple. He's going to tell them to stop sacrificing to God. And the image will be placed into the Holy Temple. That's what will make it desolate. That will pollute the sanctuary. And the people will be forced to sacrifice to the image instead of to God, which is what they come there to the temple of God to do, is to bring their sacrifices to pay for their sins and the different things that they're offering sacrifices for. They're going to sacrifice it to the image instead. And then people will also be forced to worship the image, or in the Antichrist, or be killed. And then we know at the end, like we said, in about the last half of the 7-year period, the Antichrist will be cut off, and Jesus will do it by the brightness of his coming. But that's all that the Bible has to say about the Abomination of Desolation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, give God glory. Like I always say, read the Word for yourself. Read the Word. Maybe you'll get something out of it that I didn't bring up. And I don't know when the end times is going to happen. I don't have God's day planner. I don't think anybody in this world does. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week, next year, 10 years from now, 100 years. I don't know. But we do know that each day that passes, we are getting closer to the end times, closer to this world being wrapped up. And so we need to be ready. It's like I said, we need to be ready daily, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. And so we need to have that. We need to be ready. We need to have ourselves, our hearts ready. Like I said before, if you're married to somebody and you don't talk to them every day, chances are they're not going to stick around. God will stick around with you, but you do need a personal relationship with him. You need to pray to him every day. You need to have your sins covered. You need to read the Word for yourself, because like I say, I don't have all the answers, and I don't think anybody else does. Now, you can get a better understanding, and by reading his Word, he will reveal stuff to you. We won't get the full picture. Like I said, the way I believe it is that we're looking at God's plan through a knot hole in a fence, like a wooden fence, and there's one of the little knots from the wood that's knocked out, and that's all we're seeing. That's all the picture we're getting. We're not getting the full picture. We'll never get God figured out. Don't matter how long we live and how many times we read the Bible, we're not going to have him figured out. We're not going to completely know his plan. He doesn't give us access to his day planner. But we see more and more every day that we're getting closer to God wrapping this thing up. Like our very first video, we talked about technology and the end times, and we've seen how it hadn't been all that long ago, 200 years or so, people reading the Bible would see different things in there and think there's no way that they would ever be able to see that come to pass. Like example, you can be in America and you read about the 2 witnesses lying dead in the streets of Jerusalem for 3 days. With no way you could think, how in the world am I going to see that? I'm here in America. Jerusalem's over there across the ocean. How am I going to see these 2 prophets, these 2 witnesses, laying dead in the streets? Now we have world news like CNN, Fox News, all these different networks like that will show you. There's these 2 witnesses that have been, I'm trying to think how they said it exactly. Tormenting the earth, because, they're going against what is going on in the day, where all the people have been listening to the beast, the Antichrist, and what he's done. They can see that. And more you see that enemies getting more and more control of the church. You got people in churches that now they don't want to preach about sin. They don't want to preach about hell. They want to make everybody feel good. They want them to feel special and everything. They want to focus on the person rather than what the person is speaking about. And you got churches more and more that are looking for any opportunity they can to shut the doors of the church. When I was growing up, we went to church Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and Wednesday. And sometimes we'd have, some churches, we have like a Bible study night or something like that. But now you got in churches, and the pandemic's, it's not helped, but now you got churches that are only having church on Sunday morning. Or maybe they're having church on Sunday morning and Wednesday night, but not on Sunday night. Or, it's just more and more Satan's getting, controlling the church. And this is only going to get worse. So we got to be right with the Lord, because we don't know when that day is going to happen. One day God's going to say, this is it. I've let Satan run around for too long. I'm done. It's time to wrap this thing up. We don't know that's going to be. But what we do know is it will happen. And it will happen soon. Each day that passes is a day we get closer to that time. So we got to be ready. We got to have our heart ready to be with Jesus. But I hope you got something out of this. If you did, give God glory. Don't take my word and blessings for it. Read the word for yourself. I can't wait to see what else Jesus has for us as we continue our end time series. Like I said, Lord did bring something to my attention that's kind of going on right now that may or may not be a part of the end times, but we're going to kind of discuss it. We'll probably do it at the end of what we have in our outline of the end times set up there. I'm looking forward to that, if the Lord still wants me to do it. But anyway, I love you. God bless you. I hope you have a great week. And we'll see you next week, God willing. I can't wait to see what the Lord has for us.